Quoto, yeah, said. Oh how, I thought, like the phoenix, were going to throw yourself into the fire and rise from your ashes. I'm ready, said. For my New Year's resolution, I am going to give up donuts. Socrates grinned at me, saying, I wish it were that simple. Right now you're a tangled mass of twisted circuits and outmoded habits. We're going to have to change habits of acting, of thinking, of dreaming, and of seeing the world. Most of what you are is a series of bad habits. He was starting to get to me. Damn it, Socrates, I've overcome some difficult hurdles, and I'm still doing the best I can. Can't you show me some respect? Socrates threw his head back and laughed. Then he walked over to me and pulled my shirt out. As I was tucking it back in, he mussed up my hair. Listen to me, a great buffoon, everyone wants respect. But it is not just a matter of saying, please respect me. You must earn respect by acting respectable, and the respect of a warrior is not easily earned. I counted to 10, then asked, how then am I going to earn your respect, a great and awesome warrior? By changing your act. What act is that? Your poor me act, of course. Stop being so proud of mediocrity. Show some spirit. Grinning, Socrates jumped up and slapped me playfully on my cheek, then poked me in the ribs. Stop, I yelled, in no mood for his play. I reached out to grab his arm, but he leaped lightly up on his desk. Then he leaped over my head, spun, and pushed me backwards onto the couch. Climbing angrily to my feet, I tried to push him back, but just as I touched him, he leaped backward over the desk. I fell forwards onto the carpet. God damn it, I raged, seeing red. He slipped out the door into the garage. I limped after him in pursuit. Socrates perched on a fender and scratched his head. Why, Dan, you're angry. Stunning observation, I fumed, panting heavily. Good, he said. Considering your predicament, you should be angry, but make sure you direct that anger wisely. Sock deftly began to change the spark plugs on a VW. Anger is one of your main tools to transform old habits. He removed an old plug with the spark plug wrench, and replaced them with new ones. He threaded a new plug into the block, tightening it with a firm tug of the wrench. Back in Socrates, drew some water from the spring water dispenser and put on the evening's tea specialty, rose hips, as how can I control my habits, if I can't even control my emotions, Sock? He sat back in his chair. It is then the warrior never feels the normal upsetting emotions. In a sense, this is true. Yet emotions are a natural human capacity, a form of expression. I got up, took the whistling kettle off the hot plate, and poured our steaming tea. Can you give me a specific example, Socrates? All right then, he said. Spend time with a baby. Smiling, I blew on my tea. Funny, I never thought of babies as masters of emotional control. When a baby is upset, it expresses itself in banshee wails, pure crying. It doesn't wonder about whether it should be crying. Hold or feed it and within seconds, no more tears. If the baby is angry, then it very definitely lets you know. But this too, it lets go of very quickly. Can you imagine a baby's feeling guilty about its anger? Babies let it flow, then let it go. They express themselves fully, then shut up. Infants are fine teachers, and they demonstrate the right use of energy. Learn that, and you can transform any habit. A Ford Ranchero wagon pulled into the station. Socrates went around to the driver's seat while I, chuckling, grabbed the gas hose, and removed the gas cap. Inspired by his enlightening revelation of how to control emotions, I yelled over the roof of the car, just tell me what to do, and set me loose, Sock. I'll tear those nasty habits to shreds. Then I got a look at the passengers, 3 shotguns. I choked on my words, and, turning beet-red, busied myself with washing the windows. Socrates just leaned against the pump, and buried his face in his hands. After the Ranchero pulled out, much to my relief, another customer drove in. It was the blonde man again, the one with the curly beard. He jumped out of the car, and gave Socrates a bear hug. Good to see you, as always, Joseph, Socrates said. Same here, comma. Socrates, isn't it? He gave me a beguiling grin. Joseph, this young question machine is named Dan. Push a button, and he asks a question. Marvelous to have around. Really, when I've no one to talk to? Joseph shook my hand. Has the old man mellowed in his declining years? He asked with a broad smile. Before I could assure him that Sock was probably more ornery than ever, the old man interrupted. Oh, I've really become lazy. Dan has it much easier than you did. Oh, see, Joseph said, maintaining a serious countenance. You haven't taken him on any 100-mile runs, or worked with the burning coals yet, hmm? No, nothing like that. We're just about to start with the basics, like how to eat, walk, and breathe. Joseph laughed merrily. I found myself laughing with him. Speaking of eating, he said, why don't both of you come to the cafe this morning? You will be my private guests, and I'll whip up something for breakfast. I was just about to say, oh, I'd like to, but I really can't. When Socrates volunteered, we'd be delighted. The morning shift gets on in half an hour. We'll walk over. Great. See you then. He handed Sock a $5 bill for the gas, and drove off. I wondered about Joseph. Is he a warrior, like you, Sock? No one is a warrior like me, he answered, laughing. Nor would anyone want to be. Each man or woman has natural qualities. For example, while you've excelled in gymnastics, Joseph has mastered the preparation of food. Oh, you mean cooking? Not exactly. Joseph doesn't heat food much. It destroys the natural enzymes needed to fully digest the food. He prepares natural foods in a way you'll soon see for yourself. After a taste of Joseph's culinary magic, you'll have no tolerance for fast food joints ever again. What's so special about his cooking? Only two things, really, both subtle. First, he gives his complete attention to what he does. Second, love is literally one of the primary ingredients in everything he makes. You can taste it afterwards for a long time. Sock's replacement, a lanky teenager, came in with his usual grunted greeting. We left, crossed the streets, and headed south. My limping pace quickened to keep up with Sock's strides as we took the scenic route down side streets, avoiding early morning rush hour traffic. Our feet crunched over dried leaves as we walked past the varied array of dwellings that characterize Berkeley's housing, a mixture of Victorian, Spanish colonial, neo-alpine funk, and box-like apartment houses catering to many of the 30,000 students. While we walked, we talked. Socrates began. Dan, a tremendous amount of energy is necessary to cut through the mists of your mind and find the gate. So purifying, regenerative practices are essential. Could you run that by me again? We're going to clean you out, take you apart, and put you back together again. Oh, why didn't you say that in the first place? I teased. We're going to readapt your every human function, moving, sleeping, breathing, thinking, feeling, and eating. Of all the human activities, eating is one of the most important to stabilize first. Wait a minute, Socrates. Eating isn't really a problem area for me. I'm slim, I generally feel pretty good, and my gymnastics proves I have enough energy. How is changing a few things in my diet going to make a difference? Your present diet, he said, glancing up through the sunlit branches of a beautiful tree, may give you a normal amount of energy, but much of what you eat also makes you groggy, affects your moods, lowers your level of awareness, and interferes with your body's optimal vitality. Your impulsive diet results in toxic residues that have a long-range effect on your longevity.